So, why does stretching and folding help us to mix? Well, basically there is two phenomena at work. The first phenomenon here is that I reshuffle regions all the time. So for example, here I have colored my region different in color. Basically what happens is in a random liquid, a certain amount of liquid will have a certain concentration of certain analytes. And for example, I can have a high concentration here and a low concentration here, so there will be a concentration gradient between, in this case, the green region and the red region. And so within a very short time, this diffusive flux here will make sure that this concentration gradient stops. So what can I do to actually maintain a constant good diffusive flow is if I take these elements and all the time reshuffle their position, so at any moment in time two regions with different concentration are put next to each other. So they have a short amount of time to start to get the diffusive flux, but not too long, so because as soon as they get kind of getting equilibrated, you move them to another place where there's again a concentration gradient. So let's see how this reshuffling works. And basically what I did is I marked some points like here with a black square. Here you see a star, an X, an O and a plus. And you see just between the different stretch and fold cycles how they move. So I see the green dot that's in the middle of the black dot in the middle of the green region. It moves after every stretching. I see that it doubles the distance. You know, after every stretching, it doubles its distance in the x direction. So basically, double, double, double. I get an exponential. You see that this black dot moves with every stretch and fold action. It moves exponentially. So every stretch and fold, for example, say takes 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds it doubles its distance. So I have an exponential displacement of this point. And every point actually does that. So if I follow the star, it does that also. So I see if I look the dotted line and the dashed line here, they increase exponentially. And also the solid line, these distances, they increase exponentially. Again, the exponential is Lyapunov exponent. So that is what the stretching does. Every stretching axis doubles the distance. Every folding action, though, like for example here, if I follow this line, between this point and this point here, this point now gets folded on top here, so it moves from this point to this point, which is kind of a rather random movement. Yeah. So every fold changes the distance between the point in a different kind of random kind of fashion, in a not highly nonlinear fashion. And once it's here, then it gets stretched again, and this is again an exponential. So so between, as long as one point is not folded, it moves exponentially. Then it's folded, it moves to a kind of random position, and then until it's next folded next again, it's going to move again exponentially. So I see I reshuffle my regions constantly compared to one another. And the second effect that's happening is that I increase, not only do I increase, I make sure each time that I have a good concentration gradient, I also make sure that I increase my diffusion area between different regions all the time. Here I can see that, for example, for stretching, if I go from, for example, this position to this position, I see the diffusion area between, for example, the gray and the green region here double. So every stretching will double the diffusive area. And similarly, every folding, so if I go, for example, from this point to this point, I add a new diffusive area. So I fold this part on top of this one here. So now I create a new diffusive area between the dark blue and the light blue, and that's the one in the middle here. So every folding adds a new area, a new diffusive area, and every stretching doubles the diffusion area. And because the flux is, of course, directly related to the diffusive area, not the flux, but the amount of diffusion is related to the diffusive area. So constantly increasing the area between the different regions will increase my diffusion.